Where's my opening song? Well, we live. Let me find that opening song. We live on our page.
You are tuned into the A-side on THAAfterparty.com.
What's up, G?
This is Angel, and this is Star of the Petty Crew Radio Show.
Tune in every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the Hot Topics, Battle of the Sixes, and Shade Tree. Catch us every Sunday on Side Afterparty Radio. See you at the party.
Hey, it is your boy Boss Hog, host of the Petty Crew Radio Show. In the building as usual. I got my partners in crime.
Do not say ball and chain.
I'm gonna say what I'm feeling at the time because we just organic with it. My loose ends, whatever you want to call y'all.
Really?
My people, it don't matter. My ride or dies. In the building, I got Bree Moore. What's good, Bree?
Hola, everybody.
In the building, we got the birthday lady,
Happy
First Lady of Sports Rise.
Hey.
Already.
Say that's
One of very few women
that's a very important number.
who don't mind letting folks know how old they are.
I do not.
It is definitely a blessing.
Yes, 44.
Already. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So we
up.
definitely want to wish Roz a happy birthday again. I did post on my social media. So, show Roz some major love. As usual, we have a great show that's going to be lined up for today. Man, we're going to talk about these dreads. The circuit courts has ruled that a job can essentially not hire you because of dreads. And a lot of people don't know that it's been ongoing.
Right.
When the EEOC loses, and they are the one that brought this lawsuit on, that's a major blow. We also gonna get into what? We're gonna get into this dumbass dude for the Cowboys who was suspended, who just said F the NFL because you know what? I just really love to smoke
I have
weed.
to smoke weed. But
And
he's not the first one to do it.
Well, he's the first that I know of to say F the NFL. I'm just gonna go and enjoy my marijuana.
Well, Ricky Williams retired.
Yeah, Ricky Williams retired because he wanted to, not because of weed.
They kept testing Ricky, so he retired and moved
And
to
it's supposed to
Jamaica.
be random, correct?
Yeah.
Well, but we're gonna get into all that.
Yeah.
Then we gonna jump into Oprah and her hosting.
But we have a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah, we do. That's why I'm trying to get it all out, so we want everybody to know it.
Yeah,
We got Oprah Winfrey, who is who I guess hosted the documentary. What's it called? Neverland, something like that. And then Monique responds. We gonna get into. I'm gonna surprise y'all with this clip from a brother, man. You gotta follow him on Instagram and Facebook. His name is Rizza Islam. You guys probably have seen his videos. This is he's a brother of the Nation of Islam, but he made a statement that I want you guys to listen to because we really hadn't jumped in R. Kelly since this little 10 counts and all that, because everything has been going on with him from his 10 counts to child support and all that, and so I wanted to kind of wait, and so we go weigh in on that, and a lot of other stuff, but as usual.
I was going to say, Justice 16.
Oh yeah. And the brother out of Detroit, salute to this brother out of Detroit who's decided to sue 3 white women who got him arrested for gardening while black. And we're going to jump into that. But as usual, man, we like to start this show off with, the hottest music. And we're going to play a song called Flexing on Them, Ronnie Coleman. You guys don't know who he is. He was a bodybuilder out of Arlington, Texas, and this song was a part of his documentary from Netflix. So we're going to get into that song, man, and we're going to jump back into everything that we're going to talk about today.
All right.
Ronnie Coleman. What, you can't get the?
Not on my Samsung. And I normally run it on here because I can reply back to them on here, and this is where I pull my stories up. Because this is where I got Slack at. So I guess I'm gonna have to change that.
Hey, shout out to everybody who's tuned in on our Facebook Live, man. As usual, we got a great show lined up. Definitely share our Facebook Live. Start a watch party. You don't want to weigh in today on what we're talking about. It's smelling good in the studio, man. We got some good old gumbo from Culinary Creations, one of my bros, man.
And it's the best kind. We don't know what's in it.
Yeah, we just know it's seafood.
All I know is
Sausage.
my prayers have been answered because I did post not too long ago that I was craving some bomb ass gumbo. And then we have some in the studio. So my heart is happy.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy.
Again, we have a great show lined up. Just stay tuned in. We're in the middle of our song Flexing on Them, Ronnie Coleman, from the Netflix documentary on Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, that'll probably be it, because that's what happens to you sometimes too.
It has like a Jamaican feel.
Again, thank everybody for tuning in. We're in the middle of a song, but we're gonna come back with today's show, man. We got a lot we're gonna try to get into. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back with this audio that I want y'all to listen to, and then we're gonna talk about that. Cause we might as well go on and get it out the way, you know. 'Cause we might not.
I mean,
get
a lot
into the rest
happened.
of
You
it.
have to
Yeah, we
say
might
that.
not get into all the other stories, but I mean, we're gonna definitely try to get everything in. Great throwback song, KB's throwback song of the day. Shout out to my boy KB. Again, wish the birthday girl Rise a happy 44th birthday.
And I was joking this morning because you know how people say 44 ain't never looked this good. And I'm like, I don't know how 44 is
Thank you,
look,
God damn.
but this is how
I
I
sure
look.
appreciate it. You know what? I hate to see people. That just really irks me when I see it on Facebook. I'm like, damn, how you supposed to look at when you a different you at 40, the first time around in your life? I mean, you know, how are you supposed to look at the age you are? I'm just thankful if I see another year. But I always wonder that too, like, hey, we are back again. That was Flexing on Them, Ronnie Coleman. Again in the building, I have Bria Moore, Roz, my ride or dies with me. And so we're going to jump right into this clip from Brother Rizza Islam. And I want you guys to listen to it. And I want your thoughts. With that being said, we're going to go into the clip and get to talking about it.
Very quick to jump on it as an opportunity to be a prostitute for likes and views. How many of you have a very short memory because you forget that this is the same system that helps to destroy a black man completely, and you are helping this system to destroy a black man who's already going down. A brother's already going down, so why are you going to help to kick the brother while he's already going down? I didn't see any of you making any memes or videos as it pertains to the Pope of the Vatican. There's over 6,000 Catholic priests who are found to be involved with little boys. Just 2 weeks ago, maybe over the last week and a half, I didn't see anybody do anything about that. So, Lisa, are you justifying what he did? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is, if he is guilty, then let the man go to jail. But we don't need to sit here and continue to stab him and help the system if he's stabbing him while he's already going down. We are the only group of people who do this, and it is a goddamn embarrassment. Harvey Weinstein, Mick Jagger, Hugh Hefner, Steven Tyler, blasting as well. Oh, make sure you keep the same energy when the enemy comes after all of y'all, because he absolutely will. I guarantee that.
Hey, listen, we're back. Find this brother on Instagram, on Facebook, Rizza Islam. And basically this audio clip was him basically saying that we are the only group, only race
Right.
that pounce on already fallen celebrities. And he mentioned, because, you know, right now who's hot is R. Kelly, and the fact that, you know, as I have always said for a while now, that he's irrelevant. He's never, you know, since
Right.
all his little situations that happened, he's irrelevant. And so when I ran across this brother video, I was like, wow, we really need to talk about it. I mean, he has so much going on. We will be all day talking about the various situations that he have going on, from the 10 counts to these videos to somebody else. So all of a sudden a 13-year-old, I don't know how they all are now, but coming out. And so it's just so much that's going on with that. But we can definitely talk about this brother's statements, and his whole point is that where's the same outrage for these other people?
Right, outside of our community.
Outside of our community. Here it is, we jump on this guy. He's already down, and as he clearly stated, he's not defending him. What he's saying is that a man is already down. And so why do we, and I'm sure you've seen on your social media page, that's all it's really been about, is
Why we still dragging
right,
it.
why we still dragging it, and where's that same passion for these Catholic priests? Why we don't do that to them? And we will beat us down,
Right.
and just look over
Everybody else.
So let's go on and jump into it. Again, you guys are live on our Facebook. You heard our first topic of the day. We really want to jump into that, and we want to know if you guys are listening, who are listening online, if you're watching on Facebook. What do you think about that? This is Brother Rizza Islam, who basically was saying in his audio that where's your same passion for these other men who have been alleged to commit these crimes, your Catholic priest and all those, and why do we pounce on men who are already down? So, let's go, Ross.
Well, I mean, I agree 100% with what he said. He's in no way, shape, form, or fashion, he said that these men are not guilty of the crimes that they have committed. That yes, they do need to be punished for what they've done. And just for the people that are just now tuning in, what he's adding is that we are the only community, the only, God, I can't think of the word right now, and it's going to kill me, but the only community that pounce on our people when they're already down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying throw a parade for this man. I'm not saying get your protest signs out and go to the jail and free R. Kelly. No. But let the system take its course.
Right.
Like he said, we haven't seen memes of the Pope, and if they do, they're few and far between. It's not as mainstream as our memes are for our own people. And once again, we talk about this over and over again, even with the supporting of black businesses. It's like, no, I can't do that. But if they do something wrong, you're the first person to share, oppose, screenshot, and, all this other stuff. And I'm not saying all. So let me go ahead and put that out there, because some people will stand up and say, hey, this man is guilty, this is that, where's this, where's that, to where others kind of, shy away from it, but are more prone to share these type of events and stuff that's in the story than anything else. So that's my take on
Bree?
My take is, I'm getting tired of niggas comparing stuff to other khaki men's crimes first and foremost. I feel like the only people who can have the stance that this man is taking right now are relatives of children that people know have been touched on and molested within the family, or they know of a known molest in the family, and they did raise alarm, and the family somehow or another protected that person in whichever way they saw fit, and we know this happens. I feel like those are the only people that can have the sentiment that this man has right now. Like, I mean, we need to, not to say that when it happens to other children that it does not matter or anything like that. So please don't clutch your pearls when I say this, but we get too caught up in what the hell other races and people have going on, period. We need to keep, everybody be quick to say we need to keep that same energy for this, that, and the third in regards to people that really don't give a flying F about us in no situation. Look at Flint. Look at what's still going on in Flint. Look at New Orleans. Yeah, the French quarters and shit, that shit is all nice and stuff because that makes them money. It brings in that tourism. All these things that's going on with us, we need to be concerned about that stuff in-house with us and everything. And as far as bringing people down, I mean, we are living in times of sensationalism, period. Like, someone can legit be on fire on the side of the road, and you'll have people get out and start recording in the hopes of maybe their video going viral before they help this person. Those are the type of times that we're living in. Am I saying that is cool? No, I'm not. But that's why people are hitting the ground running with material and this, that, and the third. And it's not like, different situations haven't got made fun of that really shouldn't have gotten made fun of. It shouldn't have got a meme. It shouldn't have, just like the death of Whitney Houston. People was making memes about how they say the bathroom looked at the hotel. But, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I'm saying, my point in saying that is don't act brand new and act like people don't, wherever they see fit to get material, something that's going to get laughs or views, don't act like that doesn't happen with all kinds of stuff that probably shouldn't be given that type of energy. But it's a lot of people that were out there and they were so adamant about, if he finally get charged with this, that, and this, then I finally feel this way about it. But even as I've been seeing on social media,
with this man is sick in the head.
But I'm saying is there were people who were so adamant about like why he ain't in trouble, why he ain't got charged, and then now that he's charged, it's another or whatever.
Hold on, because I don't want to go off what we talking about.
I'm talking about what he talking about.
So we're not on because he got a lot going on, and at the end of the day, being charged doesn't convict you. Regardless, I have more women that I've dated on my page, and seemingly only the 3 women that have ever said that I've touched them physically are the women that I don't have a relationship with. So do that mean that I've touched women? No. I have. So I said that to say, at the end of the day, none of that mean nothing. Anybody with some common sense will say, well, wasn't he already going through a court case? And now we're talking 20 years later, you're bringing back up something he literally was already doing in the middle of a court case. It's called doing the math and the timeline. So that's why I really don't want to get into all that, because then it would really make people move from a place of what I feel to say what actually makes sense. If you look at his accusations and the times, he was already going to court. Right. These are literally at the same time. So apparently he was going in the court. And apparently, when he was leaving court, he was still conveniently.
I'm just saying. The girls have already been there, and then they brought in, since this new documentary came out, which was pretty much the old court cases.
It should not even be called that. That was not a documentary.
Well, whatever they called it.
It was.
And then now, like, some more people have stepped out and said that, I'm a victim, and just stuff like that. So that just brought it back to
right. That's what I'm saying. Let's do the math on it. We're talking about again. What he's saying is, we are the only ones that are actually being attacked.
And we're being attacked by our own people.
Right, regardless of how you feel about this man and what he could have done, again, anybody with some logic and sense will say, where has these tapes so-called been for the past 20 years? Why is it that he's the only one being charged? It would literally take somebody to think before they make it. That's why you let the court system play out. At the end of the day, to me, he's become a victim. Because everything that has been thrown against him, he's beat. He's not protected. He's just beat. It's just come to find out these women have lied. In Dallas, this woman said she gave him an STD. You see what I'm saying? The police said, you was lying.
I don't want to say that he's a victim.
No, listen, what I mean by victim is if I keep pouncing on you and you win, I would look like a bully, right? If I pointed at you and got you and I kept antagonizing you in any certain way, I would be a bully. Because you haven't did nothing. So that's what I mean by that. What I'm saying is, for all his accusations, that's why I don't want to get into all that. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whatever accusations, he's beat. So at the end of the day, he is a innocent man who has never been convicted of nothing.
But he beat him. And I love R. Kelly. So, this is hurting my soul. So, it is. I love that. I loved that man. But he is no longer a part of that place for me, because now his name is associated to molesting little girls, and that's disgusting to me.
Oh, right. Okay, and it's great. Again, we ain't trying to get on all that.
But I mean, we're on top of it. We're pouncing or whatever the situation is. But that's for me, and anybody who know me will tell you how much I love that man. Anybody. But it's an old saying, just like everybody have said in the past, where there is smoke, there is fire. This man is not guilty. I mean, let's just go ahead and flip our hands on that. Let's do the dealer hands.
And I must add, just to add to that, just for a little
not
second,
guilty.
Let's not sit here and act like we don't know that there have been people who were guilty as shit, and they got found or acquitted, or the mistrials and all that type of stuff. But I'm just saying, because you just were saying he got brought up on these charges or whatever, and he got found now guilty, so therefore he's innocent.
But you wouldn't know. That's just common sense. OJ got off. Listen, OJ got off, and that's why they want to listen. That's why they want to get into this conversation.
Well, I don't think OJ
because bias. Hold up, because bias plays a part in how people think. You can't be two-sided in the court of law, and that's where the conversations start to go left. You can't knock a court system when it don't fit your narrative. For instance, when police go innocent, right?
Right.
And then turn around and say, well, you can't say, well, because he was innocent, he didn't do. You don't know. What we do know is that he's still innocent. That's why I don't want to jump into that.
He hasn't been found guilty. That's what that
right,
is.
but
that don't
and that's
mean
so
right there.
right.
He
So
hasn't been
again,
found
but
guilty.
again, however you choose to word it,
right.
He is still innocent. You don't know. That's why I don't listen. That's why I said I don't want to get into that part of it, because
but
that
what he
becomes
presented in that video, he's saying that people shouldn't be.
What he's saying in the video, right? Because that's why I said I don't want to get into that, because again, what's going to happen is you gonna start running into hypocrisy. Either the court system work or it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Right.
No,
So
that's just dumb.
Right. So, no, because it is either or. Right. So with that being said, if he has been found guilty in the people in the murders, right? It doesn't.
Yes,
as somebody who was sat on the court, it ain't tainted by an attorney or anything else. At the end of the day, the jury of his peers have found him innocent so far. If he's done it or not, nobody knows.
Right.
It's between him and God at the end of the day. And that's why I say you can't be one-sided and pick and choose when it comes.
Because I simply just said.
What I'm saying is you make the statement that just because he was found innocent, that doesn't mean he did it. You're correct, but in the court of law, because we don't know what he's done in his private time.
No. Because you were just saying overall as a man, because he went through it and came out of the way in which he did, like that made him innocent as a man. Period. You didn't say in the court of law. You didn't say in the court of law.
Listen. The only time you go to court is in the court of law. What I said,
no, you
clearly,
go to court in the court of opinion and all kind of stuff.
Listen,
as we see right now.
As I just said, that's like my kids' mothers, who the only people that have a problem with me, who said, "Well, you've physically assaulted me," and I have damn near every woman that I've ever dated on my social media page that will say, "You know what? He didn't do it." So who do you believe? He ain't never touched me. He's never did me. And it seems like y'all the only three that got a problem with it. So you accuse him of it. So do that mean that I've touched him? No. That's my point.
If you're going to say that, and we're speaking about numbers, there are numerous people that have come out and
that would-
said
and
that they
everybody-
witnessed certain things.
Listen, and yet
In
every
all
woman,
different facets of this man's life, his own security people, he's paid their income.
every woman,
Not just
so
women
far, hold
he's
up.
fooled with.
Right, that's why I didn't want to get it.
I'm just
Here's a
saying.
fact. Here's I'm gonna ask you a
I'm
question.
trying to
yes
show
or
you
no.
it's not biased. That's
Listen
because
to
you're
me.
trying to say it's biased.
No, what I'm saying to you is, again, you said just because he was found innocent in the court, that don't mean he done nothing. You're correct, but you wouldn't know it. So in the court of law,
That's
he's
a
innocent.
general statement. I'm not saying I know anything either way.
right,
And I'm telling
you're
you
correct.
that you don't know anything either way.
What I
Basically.
do know is in the court of law, he's innocent. It don't matter what
Yeah,
you
but
think.
we're not just talking about that. We're talking about as the man walking the street. Because as soon as he walked out that court and he got found innocent, he has been steady putting himself in positions, compromising situations that are
How you know?
expounding on this situation. How do I know? Because the man is currently in jail facing 10 charges of
For
all
some
these different
for some
things.
shit for 20 years ago, nothing recent.
I'm not
From
making
98
up
to
anything.
2010.
I'm
Listen,
simply
from
pointing out
1998,
what they
from
say
19
he's still
right.
been doing.
Listen.
Working at high schools, going to
Again,
McDonald's.
you keep on talking about. That's why I didn't want to have this. Because
What?
he's
I'm
saying,
just putting out the facts.
He's, right, he's
It's not an
saying, but
opinion.
again, that's not a fact because I'm gonna say
That is a fact that
Listen,
the man
if
did.
I say this woman is a hoe, do that mean she a hoe just because I said it?
No,
No,
what
it doesn't.
what I'm pointing out to you, because you just said that it's only a handful of females out of the ones that you've dealt with that would say negative about you, correct? And
Okay.
so I said, if we're going to be dealing with numbers in that way, there have been numerous people saying that this man has done
More
questionable
so
things
than not.
with,
And right.
with underage young
And
girls.
again, you
so
have
if we're
to
going to go
ask,
off
would
of
it be
numbers
true?
or whatnot, so like which one is it?
This is what I'm
You
saying.
just use yourself as an example.
I use myself as an example to say, if I've been dealing with these people, what you're doing is flipping it and saying, well, there's more people that saying he's done it,
No,
but he's not been found
What I'm
guilty.
saying is you're saying that because majority of women wouldn't come out and say that proves a certain other facet of you that you're upset.
No, I didn't say it
upstanding
proved
man
nothing. I said
or
which
whatever.
one do you? I say which one do you listen
That's
to?
basically what you're saying. So if the majority ruled in that situation, why wouldn't the majority rule in that other situation?
Again, I just stated because we go off topic
I don't
and
know
we
how
got to
you
keep it
do. You
on.
supposed to move on? Is that
Right.
move on sitting?
As simple, it is very clear. At the end of the day, with this brother, and anything else, you have to pick and choose. Either you're for the justice system or not. When you add everything outside of what we know, what do you know? Court. I mean, everything has happened to this guy. He done gave this woman an STD. He done did this. He done did this. He done did this. He done did this. And yet and still in the court of law, when it's been investigated, when they've done their job, he has been found innocent or there's no charges that need to be brought up against him. That's what we know. Which was my statement was, after a while, you continue to pass on people, as the brother was saying in the video, as I've been saying when this thing started happening, when they were talking about Mute R. Kelly, this brother is irrelevant. RZA alone was basically saying the same thing I've been saying about this brother from the jump. He's irrelevant. Ain't nobody have heard nothing from him until these parents that come out to say and make this big fuss.
Right.
The same way D.L. Hughley said the same thing. If this little old documentary never come out, then what? And that's what the brother RZA Islam was saying. We're the only ones that are turning around a brother that's already down, a Michael Jackson, which we're going to jump into, is
Perfectly
down,
way.
dead, and we pounce on him.
Right.
And with that being said, moving to another part of the segment, and let's jump on it. Oprah Winfrey has had flash, what would you call it, pushback, because a few guys who watched it, I hadn't watched that mess. Oprah Winfrey hosted a documentary called Neverland, which documents the story of two young men who at the time were in the age of 7 and 10.
Yes.
And so she, in a sense, and I want to make sure that I'm correct about this. She made statements that, this is bigger than Michael Jackson. Their story should be told. And it's from an article that we were going to talk about from Mail Online. that you can read, and which we're going to be discussing from the Daily Mail, that says that it is Oprah Winfrey denounces Michael Jackson while praising Leaving Neverland and the brave men coming forward to say they were raped by the king of pop. And so a little bit of the highlights of it, so we can jump into it. It says the world most famous survivor of sexual abuse sat down with the two men who have accused Michael Jackson of raping them when they were children in the new documentary Leaving Neverland. Oprah Winfrey taped the HBO own special Out the Neverland on Thursday in New York City, where she was joined by the director of the documentary, Dan Reed, and the two men that at the center of the film, James Safechuck and Wade Robson. That special will air Monday, which it already aired this past Monday night after the completion of the show. But Winfrey has made no secret about how powerful and important she believes this film is in shifting the way people think about sexual abuse. Winfrey, the article goes on to say that and Winfrey is using her star power to promote the documentary, and her after the show going so far as to still attached to it. In any case, retweeting it, just I guess putting it out there.
It is Oprah's network, so it's still Oprah.
Yeah, no, it's the what's name channels now. It's owned by I think either AMC or something like that. You can still stay attached to it, whatever. So the article also goes on to say that After Neverland will appear, which was this past Monday. Both HBO and OWN after the final Leaving Neverland. I tried to get the message across. Sexual abuse, this is a quote from Oprah, was not just abuse, that it was sexual seduction, but for me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson. It is much bigger than any one person. It is a moment in time that allows us to see the social, societal corruption. It is a scourge on humanity. And this was a long article. So we just want to talk about how we felt about Oprah and her hosting this and how her views have changed. And then we're going to jump into how Monique, and we're going to add that into, Monique already don't kind of like.
Oprah anyway.
Right.
As always, it's the same story when stuff like this happens. Who is Oprah pulling for? I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Why would she do it? Why would she disgrace Michael Jackson in his death? I mean, we don't know the intricate details of what happened, but we know that he was also a sexual predator. Now, if he has kind of went about it the wrong way, because the parents, I don't want to say the parents knew, but if you watch that documentary, the first thought you get was, did these parents know what was going on when you leave your child in the care of Michael Jackson while you go on an extended vacation? And then you come back and that child wants to sleep in the same bed with this man. So watch it and you'll determine it. But to get off topic, but it's the same thing. Michael Jackson is dead. We know what he's did. He's paid these boys. They've settled lawsuits, so they've been to court. Whatever the situation is, that is dead and gone. Why bring it up now? And she said in that article that she did 216 sexual abuse cases when it comes to children, because she thought it was relevant, which is true. But this has been through the news 20-something years ago. Why are you bringing it back out? Why is there a secondary taping of it 20 years later when they've gotten paid, they've went to counseling, he's dead? I mean, amongst everything else, that man is no longer here to even defend his name. So it kind of goes back to the clip that we heard for in the beginning. Once again, this man is dead and she's bringing it.
Yeah, and also we gotta add, because they would tie into similarly R. Kelly and all these accusations.
Well, now theirs is a little different. Both, to me, and that's just to me. Now, I think Mike is about as guilty as everybody else too. When you go back and listen to this testimony, so one story, and it'll be brief. One story, the family wanted a trip to Neverland. They went to Neverland. Well, while they were here, because they were from overseas, they were going to go to the Grand Canyon. Well, Michael asked if the little boy can stay while they continued on, and they said, yes. You just met Mike. This ain't like a family friend. This is not somebody who done babysit your kids before because their kids done came over and played. Yes, it is Michael Jackson. Yes, it is an icon. Yes, it is a pop star. But that is still my child, and I'm still worried about the welfare of it. This man is still loony in the head. I mean, for lack of a better word. No, he's coming with us. Now, if you want to come to the Grand Canyon, Mike, with us, you're welcome to get back in this Winnebago, and we can ride out. Okay. But he's not staying here. So watching the entire, the whole document, Mike did it, and the parents. And the little boy said that, one of the little boys said that his parents knew. His parents knew and still left him unattended with Michael Jackson. And he still haven't forgiven his parents to this day. Because he said they knew, and I think that was the older one. But they got paid. They're set up for life, let's just say.
So, now, again, we have to add that Michael Jackson was found not guilty, which would go into, again, picking and choosing. Why would you now come out with a documentary when you've already been proven to be a liar in court?
But it's the same thing with the OJ.
No,
tapes.
but it's not.
Well, I mean, coming back, he's been tried. They said he wasn't guilty, so they got him on kicking down the door to collect his own shit back. I mean, it's on the same structure of what we're talking about. These cases have been settled. Why do we have a part two? What is the part two gonna bring to life? What is next? Why do you have to keep drudging up the stuff that black people have been vindicated of to say, well, you know what? I know the court said that you were innocent, but here's part two. And we're still going back over the same thing. Mike was tried. He was found not guilty. He paid these people off. They said R. Kelly did the same thing to the first girl in the tape. And if you look at the tape, she was younger than what he should have been dealing with. Paid off. She didn't show up. But her aunt is over here whispering, in the background, I know who this look. Well, her parents didn't. Or whoever that little girl is on that tape, nobody else recognized her that was in her immediate family that brought her forward. So, in the court of law, innocent. Michael Jackson, he done paid them off. In a court of law, innocent. O.J. Simpson, we done, if the glove don't fit, you must quit. Innocent.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, let's go there. You did that like you finna power up on a game.
Right, but I mean, and again, like I said, for Oprah to have done it, and this is supposed to be somebody that you admire, this is your friend, it becomes what side are you playing on? Right. Because before I get into that, like I said, I gotta hit that. What side are you playing on? That's why I don't, again, influencing who really has power. She's owned. She's influenced. What does she do? She's like Michael Jordan. I collect a check.
Does she still own the
She don't own. Her name, she's attached to own. She had to sell it because it wasn't financially doing well. Google it. She don't own it.
I was about to say, when she did still own it, would you have considered her?
No, because she's connected. In other words, it's partly owned by somebody else, and that partly owned had to go in and buy the rest of it to keep it afloat. Mm-hmm. So, do you really have that money you say you have? No. Again, I keep on telling folks, find out about Byron Allen. That is a real billionaire for real. He spent $300 million to buy the Weather Channel. How many other folks you know that can turn around and spend $300 million to go buy a channel? Oprah had to sell her channel, and so no, she collects a great check. She's an influencer, like we talked about with Steve Harvey. You an influencer. You don't own nothing. You don't make the moves. You just in with the people to where you have to say, well, don't give this person an opportunity. as Mike Epps was saying, you know, you got those gatekeepers in the black community that are affiliated with the people with power. All is affiliated. Where are the documentaries for Harvey Weinstein? Where are the documentaries? And that's what RZA alum is talking about. Where's these other documentaries?
Right.
Why is it you either right? Why you eat? Now here's the deal, and this is something that people don't know. The reason why you do not see as much as the Catholic priests being charged the way you do is because they allowed the Catholic Church to handle their own.
And that priest came out earlier.
So you only seen one priest that got defrocked so far. One who was going to jail.
The new God, I can't remember. The new priest over whatever. He put out a statement and he said he's done with dealing with it. You will be handled. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted.
Right. Yeah. You talking about
instead of just removing them and putting them over here. Oh, so you touched the boys. Okay, let me put you over here and see. Okay, now.
So when we talk about a protected class, we talk about real protection.
Yeah.
Real protection is that of the priest when you really have documented abuse, documented sexual assault. No, they've done it.
Black and white.
Yeah, but again, back on Oprah, you start looking at whose side are you really on. Yeah. All you have to do is sit back and watch how people move to figure out when Monique is shooting. Well, how real is it? Monique looked like she know what the hell she talking about. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I support you in private, but publicly, I'm not gonna speak. Because then you start finding out what side of the line you on. You got pictures with Harvey Weinstein, Gail, all this and this and that, but have y'all interviewed his victims? Nope. Have they did documentary on their victims? Have they came? And as you said, here it is. This man.
Say it's a well-known Hollywood thing.
Yeah.
Here it is. This man
I'm sure that
has.
casting couch just didn't come about from somebody,
right?
You know, want to write a movie.
Mm-hmm. And so here's this man again who has been through it. And Mike has always put out and said, "Listen, they're trying to get me." Eddie Griffin has come out to say, "Listen, if you're black, you ain't finna leave this industry untainted."
Right.
He looks like he's talking. Well, he know what he talking about.
Right.
Prince, he was supposed to be in drugs. He took himself out. You name him. Mike owned half of Sony.
Right.
Those Jewish people didn't like he did business well. I'm going to fulfill my obligation, and then at the end of the day, I own it. But remember back in the day, he was a molester. He was broke. He's borrowing money from people from here.
Right.
But he was collecting a check. Just like they collect a check for all these artists having the Beatle catalog. And then it started to, not just what you heard and think, it started to play out how he said it was.
Right.
Listen, they coming after me. And for a guy who was conscious at the end of the day, he knew it. Hey man, they coming after me. Then it probably looked like he was crazy.
Right.
But now when you look at it now, like you said, here it is 20-some years later, like anything else, why now?
Right.
These same men, or young men at the time and families, were found not to be valid in the court of law. And not Michael Jackson getting off, those same Caucasian folks. And you gotta remind people of that. It ain't like it was 5 or 6 black folks on the jury. These
right.
were white
predominantly
people. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, Monique had to weigh in on it. You know, Monique had some coming. I think anytime she can shoot it, Oprah.
Snap back at Oprah and
she go do it.
She waiting.
So it says Monique and her husband want to be Team Oprah. It won't be Team Oprah anytime soon. The pair are the latest to weigh in on the HBO Oprah Winfrey presenting Leaving Neverland documentary. She goes on to say, and you wait for 10 years after this man was deceased to now do an interview with people who said they lied. For me, it's a sad and disheartening that man welcomed you in his home and you spoke of how beautiful and how all the love this man has shown children all over the world. Then she goes on to say, when we're calling someone a molester and they're no longer here, Michael Jackson is not here to defend himself, which is a major problem. He was found not guilty. Then you come back and you allow these 2 men to get on their platform, get on your platform and tell this story, and that a man can't defend himself. Who does that? I agree. Because he can't defend himself.
Right.
if you ever looked at a Master P interview, whenever they bring up Pimp C, he says, hey, I don't want to hold that conversation about the encounter that we had. Because the first thing he says is, he's dead.
Right.
I don't want to hold that conversation.
Right.
Let's not get in our past, because they became cool later. You know, everybody know what went on with
And
him.
that's but that's the respectful thing to do.
Right.
He's not here. He went to court, just like you said. He was found not guilty. Everything else is public opinion, including mine.
Right.
I thought he was guilty. I'll be the first to raise my hand, just like R. Kelly, just like Bill, just like the popes, just like Weinstein. I just think that they are. But legally, this man is free and clear. Why are we still talking about it?
Right.
That was 20 years ago. They got their check. They got their parents at the time, because they were just kids, got their 15 minutes of fame, and oh my God, and I'm sorry it happened to you, but you left your kids there. That's the part that I can't get past. You left your kids in the care of somebody that wasn't, and I don't care if it is Michael Jackson. Well, I want your kids to stay here with me. No, come on, Mike, get in this Winnebago. It'll be fun. Stuff you've never did as a kid. Get you a sleeping bag and let's ride out.
Right. But no, I agree. I mean, you can't. You again. It's no different than when we talked about R. Kelly with the situation.
Right.
These so-called out the blue tapes that have somehow magically been sitting in the vault.
Now I don't want to say. Now this is about survivors or people who have been through this. I don't know why people wait. I kid you not. I do not know why people wait 30 years. It's the hashtag #MeToo movement. You know, I had issues with that. I supported you, but I had issues in your timing. I don't know why you put him in the vault. So he went to court the first time, and allegedly, during that time, that's when he was still dealing with you. Perfect opportunity to release your tape. Hey, I got a tape over here. We got pictures over here, but you waited until the second coming, as they say, of the R. Kelly. You waited until the second coming, and now you want to jump on the bandwagon.
And again, I mean, it's sad, even with both of these, and since it's still connected, and I have to agree with Brother Islam. You know, regardless of your opinion of if they're guilty or not,
right.
It doesn't matter. We the only one that do it. We the only one that say, you know what? This dude is already down. He's been down. Like I said, I've been saying it since
right.
we first talked about it. This dude is down. He's a nobody at the end of the day. Financially, he'd have been here. You know. So why pounce on it again? Nobody's saying he's in. What I'm not gonna say he's guilty. I don't know. We don't know. I mean, it's too many people who have been, and even with Mike, for me, it's just too many people who get labeled and accusation to say, well, where there's smoke is fire. That's just really not true. You have people that are just out for people. No, not all the time.
No, that's a pretty true statement.
No,
because you had to have done something. It may not be into the magnitude that they are accusing you of, but
with Michael Jackson,
no. If every time I go to somebody and I say, I do a show, a co-show this with Steve, and they
you co-host the show.
There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. And then they say, well, I done had some bad dealings with that brother, and I say, well, that's not how me and Steve's relationship is. But it's every person that I'm coming in contact with. Now, their bad dealings may have been something to where I don't feel like it's a bad deal. They may have said, well, we was trying to go in business together, and he pulled back at the last minute and left me struck out. Well, we was trying to do this, and he pulled back at the last minute. Well, he was trying to do that and pulled back at the last minute. But there's something about you and how you handle yourself, something that is going on with Steve that has caused a little smoke to rise where people are like, I ain't heard nothing good about this man. Nothing. But I'm over here, and I was like, well, it hasn't happened to me, so maybe I shouldn't try to pair my business with Steve because this is the outcome. You cannot get a tag on you for not doing anything. And I don't care if it's sleeping in the bed with the little boys and not touching them. That is still unacceptable.
But what's unacceptable to you, again, what's unacceptable
So
to
if your
you.
daughter came in
But
at
these parents, hold up, because you sound great, but the reality is that these parents allowed it.
No, they did. And
Hold on.
it's because it is Michael Jackson.
Hold up.
That's because it was R. Kelly. That's because it was Harvey Weinstein. It's because it's attached. If Uncle Bobo say, hey, I'm going to lay her down for a nap and I'm just going to cradle with her until she falls asleep. No, you're not. No, you're not. Hey, you gonna leave?
Exactly.
You gonna leave Johnny here for a week with me while
Roz.
you keep on going to the Grand Canyon? No, you're not.
Raj, you're
Johnny,
passionate, and I
Bobo,
get it.
And the Winnebago, 'cause
Raj,
don't-
and the
I
Winnebago.
when you-
I mean, come on, let's call it what it is. It's because of who
Oh my
they
God.
are that they got the differential treatment. Let's just go ahead and say it. Because those parents from Switzerland, if the owner of Coke came over and said, hey, I just paid for y'all to get over here, y'all keep on going, I'm gonna keep your little boy here. No, he's
So,
still
Roz,
gonna
I gotta
get out.
ask this question. I gotta ask because you're passionate and I get it. I don't see it because again, these women have tried to set up R. Kelly and yet he's been found not innocent. This woman said he has this, and you just don't keep escaping this because people do their job. And what is the underline of that is hold
So
on,
did the women
hold
tell the
up,
camera?
hold up. So again, and yet. Who's doing their so as I said on social media, so I guess apparently the prosecutors ain't doing their job. The Attorney General didn't do their job.
No.
We
The-
know
the-
this
oh,
happens.
oh, okay,
Like,
so
why
it-
you saying like it don't happen?
So again, because they're yes, you're correct in saying, well, no, I'm not even gonna say that. Just because again there are accusations, and I keep using the same thing. If I keep calling a chick a hoe, would that make her a hoe? If the third dude come
Okay.
into it, do I know she a
If
hoe? If a dude come to
everybody
me and
that
say,
come in contact with this girl,
Raj just said that
say-
ain't my experience, but everybody that I come in contact with is
matter of
saying
fact, let me give you a real life situation. When I went over there to Fort Worth in our organization, it was a brother that called the brother to say, hey, he tried to take me from going in. Hey man, let you know about him. And you know what that brother said to him? Listen, I don't know what you and what relationship you have with him and how your experience is with him, but here we don't see and have no issue, whatever.
And
So
that's
I
what
say
I
that. Hold up.
said.
So I say that to say, just because people have accusations, just because somebody says something, wouldn't make that true. Even in the bed, who fault is it? If this, you keep
She
talking
didn't
about
say it
star
makes it
power.
true. She just said that it's a little smoke, so
But we-
it causes
something.
We
concern.
wouldn't know.
Yeah,
If-
it's
They call
Right,
it
but
a
this-
concern.
so I'm gonna ask you again. Do you know if he's touched any of these kids? Hey, come on in. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Talk to
This
me.
is Candy. Hey, so I was listening. I got tagged to listen to the conversation. I can't sit back and listen to that rhetoric. Dude, that's like saying that they do their job with black folks. If they can miss and not prosecute people on the behalf of black folks, what makes you think they're protecting women
Wait, what do you
and
mean?
kids? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I could, like, normally I don't call in for this kind of, for anything, not just this kind of stuff. I just don't get involved. But that part about they're doing their job, they miss their job so many times when it comes to black people. All of a sudden they're protecting women and children.
okay. So what she
Okay.
was saying when you made the statement that the court system.
I can barely hear you guys.
Okay, so what you're saying is that when Steve made the statement that the court system did their job, I mean they went through, they listened to the
Yeah.
testimony, and these men came on the other side unscathed. That doesn't mean that it was right. Am I correct?
No, not by any means doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, that's what she.
Okay, I got you.
It's like saying that I guess the system gets it right. This is not the first system where they haven't gotten it right with.
Okay, get you. Okay, I see what you're saying. My statement in general, because as I said earlier, we can't pick and choose when the outcome doesn't agree with what you want it to be. And so what I'm saying, because see, I can stand back and look at it objective, and that's what we need to do. Look at it objectively, take your bias out of it, take your feelings out of it, to say you can't pick and choose when the system works and when it doesn't, when it's based off the outcome you didn't like. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Because I already know that the justice system is unfair.
But there's young men, young ladies that have been charged with rape at some of these colleges.
Yeah.
and they haven't been put in jail.
Or they've only got probation. But we know statistics says that African Americans compared to their counterpart in the same crimes are punished 20% more and longer than white. Again, is it fair? No. But objectively looking at it, a jury of his peers. Well, I mean, you can't avoid color because, okay, first of all, black people don't have money. White do, but again, disproportionately, African Americans in the court system are punished harshly. You can't not avoid race. You can't avoid color because that is the deciding factor of regardless if you have money or not. Even a poor white man will get off lightly than a black. Again, I'm speaking from an objective standpoint. At the end of the day, again, I keep saying it and folks keep fighting with it. You don't know what happened in these bedrooms. You don't know. It's what you decide to believe that determines if somebody done it or not. If you go with it, that's great. That's you.
We have video footage.
Fuck.
We have text
We do have
footage.
14-year-old.
We have phone conversations, and we have corroborating witnesses for it. One of these bedrooms you don't.
So again, as I said, in the court, because regardless of your opinion and bias, which is like I said, based off how you feel it should go, you have white people that are mad that O.J. Simpson wasn't found guilty. But his defense proved that he did do it. Do we know he did it? No, we don't. White people were mad. But African Americans were glad that finally a black man was able to get off something as heinous as murder. Why we were as black men, why would we as black people wasn't mad that he didn't get evicted? But how do we know he got a pass? The defense. How do we know he got a pass? The defense did a great job. The prosecutors had a job of proving that this man killed somebody. A man's life is on the line. I think what happened is we take all this shit lightly. Like a dude's life is on the line. R. Kelly's life is on the line.
And what she's saying, what the caller is saying, is basically what I already said, which is on one hand you can't
Hold
say.
on, she's talking.
I'm not buying into that rhetoric because too many of our young ladies are being cast aside by our own people and been told to be quiet because their moms are embarrassed, because their dads are embarrassed, because I don't want anybody to know. They're selling their kids. People are selling their kids for less than what they sold their kids or Kelly for in some cases. And in those cases with Michael Jackson, and people just need to be for real about it.
Well, maybe that's your circle.
They just need to be honest.
I mean, maybe that's your circle. That's just like I've heard black women who got a job saying that other black women need to get off food stamps and everything else. And I'm like, maybe that's your circle and the people you see.
I'm thinking to say it's not just my circle because as an educator, I see kids from the project all the way up to $1 billion houses. It's not just my circle. I'm telling you what I see. What kids come and tell me is happening in their house.
So your kids speak for all kids?
I'm not speaking for all kids.
I said, do your kids speak for all kids?
We have a legal system that has failed to protect women over and over again.
They fail to protect minorities in general.
Exactly. So to say like, well, are you saying they don't want to do their job? Some people don't want to do their job, and some people don't care enough about the person they're supposed to be protecting. That's the reality of the situation.
Very true.
That is true on a bigger statement.
To make sure it goes right.
Right, and so again, because you're talking two different things, you're correct in saying that yes, that's true, but that don't mean that apply in these situations. Because now you're speaking you're generalizing a whole topic and then in the same trying to equate it to these specific men.
But Steve, you just generalized when you said that they get it right and they get it wrong at times.
No, what I
If I'm a lawyer prosecuting that, that's two very different situations.
okay, hold on.
Unless there's something else that comes out about Michael Jackson in terms of evidence. So if you want to take it back to the courthouse and the legal side of this, then you're talking about two very different cases because one has a whole different level of evidence and preponderance of evidence and witnesses and everything else involved. And I'm not discounting the young men that came forward about Michael Jackson. What I'm saying is we take this back to a case and what a case is founded on, that's evidence. One has way more evidence.
Okay, great. Now to what Bree was saying, first of all, I'm being specific when I'm talking about them. I'm not generalizing, because I agree on a generalized level. Yes, I know that minorities are screwed more in the court of law. I'm aware of that. I'm conscious of that. What my statement is, and that's what people are not separating from generalized to me, speaking specifically to these men. What do we know? What I'm saying is you can't say with Michael Jackson, they didn't do their job. You can't say that because he got off. That's what I'm saying. They did a job to try to convict this dude. Hold on. I listen to you. I listen to you because I need you to separate your generalized conversation to me being specific with these men. What I'm saying is, as I told Bree, in picking and choosing when it works and it don't based off our bias. Do you guys understand that? What I'm saying is, on one hand, you're mad. We're happy that OJ got off. We're happy. But then we'll say, well, we're mad and Michael Jackson is innocent because he got off. Where does that come from? The bias within inside. We don't say, well, he got off. Well, you know what? But he did it. We don't do that. We don't accept it for as it is. Something has had to happen and fail in the justice system for him to get off. If you understand that. It worked for OJ because we were happy. We watched it on TV. We were like, yeah, he got off. But then when Michael Jackson gets off, now there had to be something to go wrong. And what I'm saying is that in the instance with Michael Jackson, so apparently something went wrong, somebody did a job. We don't know at the end of the day, which will always remain a fact, what he did or didn't. It will always be based off what you think he did, not what you know. You wasn't there. In the court, they found this dude innocent. Regardless of how you choose to take it, he could have did it, he couldn't have did it. In the court of law, he's innocent.
So let me give you my full point of view.
Okay.
Some of what you were saying made me feel like, as a woman and as a protector of kids, girls and boys, that if they were listening to your conversation, they would feel like they couldn't talk about it. And I didn't like that. That's why I called in. I'm gonna be one time.
Well,
when it comes to Michael Jackson or R. Kelly in this case, in these particular instances, you're right. None of us in public court were in those rooms to know whether something happened or not. The other thing that people need to remember is that by the time a lot of these cases got to court, the original people that you heard about in the case and that were supposed to be, part of the prosecution case, for some reason they weren't part of the case. And so then when R. Kelly says, I beat my case, you beat your child pornography case. The counts were child pornography. They weren't rape.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, at that point, they didn't feel like they were going after those charges. And the same thing with Michael Jackson. Everybody that was originally accusing him did end up in that final case. So to say we heard everything or everything played out, no.
Was presented, okay.
Because they had several cases, and all of them weren't included when they were tried in court.
And again, I would agree, but who fault it is that? I mean, again, in what that the prosecutor, which was the state, who was trying to get this guy, at the end of the day, they didn't get him. Again, at the end of the day, in a nutshell, did the prosecutor, they tried their best to get him. He walked. It doesn't, all the extra, what they didn't do, we're not the professionals on it, they just didn't do it. So again, generalizing the conversation, and as a man who has, again, let me keep saying it, I have 3 daughters. I have 3. And my daughters are taught straight off the rip, if you are touched in any shape, form, and fashion, hold on, you need to come to me. My daughters are not left with, hold on, my daughters are not left with any man as I explain to folks. My daughters are not left with just anybody. So I am a father who has 3 girls. My daughters know that they can talk to me. Just because I don't go with every narrative, and that is the problem with those who feel like the people that just want to say, let this shit play off, when you defending. No, damn, Brother Rizza Love just said the same thing. I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty. Let the law fall where it may. But just because we don't run behind, just because we don't run behind and say, well, yes, he did it, that don't mean we're defending him. You just don't know. Nobody knows. Let the court take its toll. Let the court play out how it play out, and let the court find him guilty or innocent and keep that shit moving. There's a reason why in this country that the Electoral College selects its president. And this is the reason why right here. You can go vote. Your popular vote don't matter, because the founding fathers of this country understood how regular people work. That is the real reason why you have the Electoral College. In other words, because Montana's looking at me crazy. We don't select we don't select the president.
That is not the reason they have the Electoral
Yes, it
College.
do.
The Electoral College is in place just because reasons is 45. When they want to take it over and don't want us to have it, that's when they
From a factual standpoint, look up the Electoral College and why it was founded. That's why it was founded. Hold up, young lady. And that's great. I mean, that's great. As somebody who's seen all of it, I've been a part of a rape case in real life. You say you're an educator. Okay, that's great. As somebody who sat on the case of a rape case, as somebody who was the jury foreman for a serious rape case of a young lady who was going against her uncle. You know who they had to dismiss most out of being on the jury? Teachers. You know why? The reason why they had to dismiss them, because every teacher stated, hold on, you're talking about somebody who,
Well, let us know.
There's nothing you're going to say still, though. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to, because you know why?
And that's why you couldn't sit on a jury. A jury asks, can you be unbiased and listen to what is presented? The most people who were dismissed from this case were teachers. You're not listening to me, sweetie. There's a danger in believing what everybody says versus believing what can be proven.
And there's also a danger in not believing what people
Listen
say.
to me. I'm not saying that.
It's a danger on both sides. No, one doesn't outweigh or trump the other.
Again, in the court of law,
When you have people that have not experienced, you don't need a jury of everybody that has experienced it. But when you don't have, see, that goes back to having the whole jury comprised of an equal balance of representing like peers of the defendant and of the prosecution side. So no, you wouldn't need a jury of all people. No, you shouldn't have 3 or 4. Because of course they're going to sway it. I get that. But when you don't have an advocate on board at all, we have a problem.
okay, so I hear you, and again, as somebody who did it, the reason why they would dismiss is because the first thing that came out of their mouth, and this was under Judge Amber Given Davis, who is over the 254th court in Dallas. The reason why that these teachers weren't able to, because out of their mouths, and we're not talking black people, we're talking white. The first thing that they said was, well, we were trained and taught to believe what was said to us. In a jury where it is your job to put your beliefs and what you think aside to be able to judge unbiasedly. Unbiased. In other words, move what you think, move how you feel, put that to the side, weigh everything as been presented, and then come back and come with a verdict. I sat on the rape case. It was a little girl. A Hispanic little girl who was accusing her uncle of fondling her, of touching her, of having his penis in her butt. I sat on it in real life. And what the courts try to do, and what this judge did was say, you know what, we need to get 12 people who can lay down whatever they believe aside to make a judgment based on what was presented. You don't want nobody, and that goes back to my statement of picking and choosing how we want the court system to work. You don't want anybody on the court system who like we see with these police who turn around and they give police the benefit of the doubt. Not that there wasn't evidence that proved, not that there wasn't evidence that proved that they were guilty.
What you just said to me was very interesting. What you just said to me is that because every teacher in America was taught to believe a kid.
I didn't say every teacher was in America. Make sure you correct me. Make sure you state me right.
We have no business. Nope. Just hear me out. We have no business on sitting on the jury because we're incapable of making
I didn't say that, did I?
decisions, which is the other part of my job every day.
Okay, listen. Let me correct you. I didn't say. Hold up. I did not say.
Well, let me say you implied. What that implies is that.
I didn't imply nothing. I'm telling you what actually happened. Out of the mouths of out of the pool of people, out of the pool. Listen to me, young lady. Listen to me, young lady. Okay, I need you to listen. Because, again, I was in the middle of the jury selection. What I'm saying is out of the pool of men and women who were there to be a part of this case, the teachers who were there, who were questioned, like you go to what they call the voir dire state or something like that, make sure I'm correct on that, who went through that, not only did they remove themselves, they also said, I didn't say every teacher, but the underlying message was, and every time that they spoke was that we were trained to listen to and believe the student, believe the child. I didn't say that speak for every teacher. I didn't say that speak for every teacher across the country. What I said was they were incapable. Okay, now listen. So they were incapable of being unbiased, listen to evidence to even be put on the jury. That's major. And I'm one of those dudes. That's why I was able to do it. Let me see what's presented. Let me not already make an assumption of guilt and innocence based off just because a little girl said it. Now, at the end of the day, he was found guilty because they put on there not a counselor, but a psychologist and all this and this and that. At the end of the day, neither really proved the case. What found him guilty was when he started smirking when she started describing what was done.
But I'm just going to say this. For me, and the things that are dear and near to me and I'm passionate about, that is a problem. Because every teacher, you are lying if you are a teacher, say you were trained to believe first. At least believe, you have to suspend whatever thought process you have. Because your license is on the line if you do not report when a child tells you something like that. Now, when we record, again, it's not our decision to decide whether it happened or not. But we have to have enough belief to make a phone call and report it to the state. And from there, the state will investigate, just like we talked about in the court of law, to decide what happened in that case. So if that's the way we're running things in America, the best advocate for kids can never be even on the case. The best decision makers who have to make 100 decisions a day can't objectively, because they have 180 kids possibly walking through their door, and they can't suppose favoritism are the people that you're school from at.
She's breaking up.
Okay, well you were breaking up, but we definitely.
I'm hoping that this gets better before it gets worse for the sake of our kids. But I appreciate your discourse, and I'm just asking everybody to be responsible because our teen girls and boys are listening.
Okay, well thank you and great. Definitely appreciate that call, man. Say this like been the second whole week we done had calls in.
Right.
We doing something.
Thank you guys.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And like I said, man, again, you know, everybody's gonna have their thoughts on it, and that's great. You know, that's the whole purpose of having this conversation because it is gonna allow you to
Okay.
think. So again, listen, we're gonna go back into our KB's throwback song of the day. I gotta remember it. I gotta remember it, man.
Just let it be a surprise to all.
Nah, man, I'm gonna tell y'all what the throwback song of the day is. Our throwback song of the day, man, it's a hot one from like the 90s. Rough Riders, Bust Your Guns. I know y'all ain't heard that song in a while. So we're gonna play the throwback song of the day and then we're gonna holler, we're gonna get into Roz's sports talk.
I don't even remember that.
Man, if you heard, you'll know. That was like in the 90s. That's when they were popping. You're gonna have to read some of these comments. Hey, shout out to everybody who's tuned in on Facebook, man. We would love to hear from you. Our hotline number is 972-591-8272. This is why I didn't want to have this conversation. Damn, I did. Is somebody on the line? Hey, if you calling in, hey, who is this calling in the middle of our throwback song? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? What's on your mind? Talk to us.
Okay.
All right. Damn, I hate you. Now we back on our throwback song.
Man, he got his thoughts confused.
Okay, see, this is why I don't like the cup. So it must go from latest
Yours
on down.
yours do. Mine goes in the order that they printed.
Hey, what's up, man? You on the line. Who am I speaking with and what's on your mind?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Yeah, I'm trying to reach the Petty Crew radio show.
Hey, you got the Petty Crew radio show. What's up?
Yeah, I got it's about the R. Kelly situation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you let us know who you are and your thoughts on it? Are we live or this? Oh, so the music is still playing. Okay, hold on 1 second.
When we come back on break,
Okay.
we'll come to you.
Hey, shout out, listen, when we do our throwback song, can y'all please just hold on till the song is over with, call in. We have a guy online right now who's going to give his thoughts and he want to talk about R. Kelly. Damn, so that's why I didn't want to hold this damn
R.
conversation.
Kelly, MJ, Justice is a hot topic.
But we're going to definitely talk about your sports segment because we'll be able to do that
I
after.
watched the video.
I watched the video too and I'm like,
He's
you
crazy. He's talking about,
dummy.
you see this?
You just shut down your whole career forever.
He don't care.
That was the other young lady who hosted the Afterparty live right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, will you check and see what everyone do? Okay. Mighty Lewis said happy birthday. Oh, you
Yeah.
replied.
I don't reply to everybody on there.
I need to get
Hey,
rid
shout
of
out to everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. See, this is why I didn't want to hold this goddamn conversation, but I knew it was coming. Tiffany Taylor, shout out to you. I definitely see
That's
you checking in.
ATL.
ATL in the building?
Mm-hmm.
ATL in the building.
When I go to ATL, this is her.
I hear Girl, this been forever.
Shout out, caller. I didn't have to think about your name the first time. I got you. Shout out. Because you know she don't have a real name on the damn, on the profile. So I'm like, Maya. Brother Troy Cousin, I see you. What's up?
I gotta shout my cousin now. He real retarded and he be coming on my post talking noise. Damon Route, shout out.
Hey, we are back live. That was Bust Our Guns, Rough Riders. Yeah.
I still never heard that song.
Yeah.
Nah, I know you don't know it right.
Yeah, but that was the throwback song, man. So we have a guy who's online. Oh, okay, he hung up. Listen, you can call us back. We are back on the radio. We would love to hear your thoughts about it. Just let us know your name and go jump right into what you have to say. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep this thing going. Like I told Roz in the break, that's why I just really feared bringing up this shit. And we brought him up in the same show.
But that's the thing, though. It's good. Oh, hey, Rob.
Hey, y'all hold on 1 second. Mary Cedric Davis, we see you too. Hey, what's going on? Let us know what's on your mind.
Yeah, I would like to like I told earlier, I was trying to make a comment about the R. Kelly situation.
Okay.
We're listening.
Excuse me?
I said, we're listening.
Yeah, I just have to say, I'd like to say,
Well, you gotta say it.
oh yeah, about the R. Kelly situation, I think it's nonsense. I don't know why these women are waiting and letting them to come out to say something about him after all these years. And one woman accused him of having sex with her when she was 13 back in 01, and she's not in her early 30s. And that made no sense.
Right. I agree with you. That was one of the stands that we took. What he said was that he didn't agree with.
I can't hear you, ma'am. You need to speak up.
I'm yelling. If I go any loud, I swear you're gonna be hoarse. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear Roz now? Are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, can you hear Roz speak? Go, Roz.
Well, he told me, hello, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh yeah, I was like to say, I don't know if what's his name?
Roz.
With the glasses?
Yeah. No, that's Steve.
Listen, I'm Boss Hog. Okay? Can we say that on the radio?
I'm sorry, that's Boss.
Yes.
I don't know if Boss Hog is, I don't know if he is or was a fan of R. Kelly and still continue to listen to R. Kelly, even though.
Fuck, I answer this question all the time. Let me answer you. I am not a damn R. Kelly fan. My wife can tell you we do not listen to this shit in the home. We don't go to his concerts. I don't listen to this dude. I'm not a fan like Roz. Ex-fan. So there's nothing for me to separate myself from. I don't work on his staff. I don't know this dude personally. I have no connection to this guy at all. So no. I'm not a fan of this dude. I don't even play this guy's music. So that answers your question there. Yeah, thank you for the call. You can
Okay, that's your opinion, but that's your opinion. And well, some people who are families still listen to R. Kelly, but they still have mixed feelings about him.
You are correct.
That's
and we
true.
appreciate your opinion. Mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings.
You are correct, sir, and we appreciate your comment on our show today. Thank you.
Have a good one.
We can.
And what did he say at first?
I
'Cause
had a
was-
headache.
I don't know.
I was trying
It
to
just-
understand
it-
and follow
yeah,
the
it took
pauses
too long.
and the distortion.
Yeah, it took too long.
And 1 minute he seemed like he was finna be defended.
He was probably over there smoking with Irvin.
What did you
on the
just say he
Cowboys
said
team.
at first, though? What did you say he said?
He said at first he said that he couldn't understand why the women are coming back 30 years later and accusing R. Kelly. Why didn't they do it then with these tapes? The same thing that you started with on the show, and then we went into the music.
Okay.
So that was his original comment, was that he couldn't understand why these women were coming 30 years later. Like the new woman that came and said she had sex with him when she was 13. They continued to have sex throughout the years, and then now they can't even find her to get an actual statement. So that's what he was saying, that she came out, they had sex at 13, now she's 30, why did they wait so long?
Mayor Cedric Davis, man, I see your comment.
And
glue does kill your mind. You are absolutely right about that.
But moving on for a quick hit so we can go to our Shade Tree segment.
Are we going to use this for the Shade Tree segment?
No, I thought you had put something else in there. This will be quick.
What's
Dallas
on
Cowboys Irvin
Uh-huh.
blast the NFL. Well, it says he's quitting the NFL. And I just paraphrase it. Because if you saw his video this week, he was smoking marijuana while videoing himself and said that he's done with the NFL. And he says, basically, guys, I quit. I don't want to talk about it or talk about suspension and all other nonsense. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this shit anymore, is what he said on video.
Mm-hmm.
Like he filmed himself smoking to let him know that he was serious. Everyone questions my commitment to football, but let's get it straight here and now. I love football. I wouldn't be here without it. Don't get me wrong, I love football. However, I don't love the NFL. The NFL is not football. You need to understand that. What you see us do, the game and shit, that's what 20% of us, 20% of all real shit we're doing. It's funny how people, oh, you're addicted to weed, you're addicted to this, you're addicted to that. I mean, shit. If I'm going to be addicted to something, I'd rather be addicted to marijuana, which is medical. It's a medicine. I do not consider it a drug, rather than Xanax bars or these hydros or Seroquels and all that crazy shit that they feed us on a daily basis to keep our bodies healthy. I loved it. If this man want to give up his career because he don't want to stop smoking,
Marahoochie.
then more power to it. But he has a valid point.
All right.
They shoot you up. They put steroids in your body when you get injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They go through all this to medicate you to get you back on that field
to perform for them.
Why can't they smoke? Why is Xanax not on the control
Why
substance?
is it illegal and slowly becoming illegal on
Well, I
state?
think what he was saying
Hydros and Seroquels, I mean, all that stuff is still detriment to your body. Weed is a medicine.
Wait a minute, but
so I heard.
Oh shit, yeah.
I mean, they have medical marijuana.
You right. That's true.
Legal edibles and suckers.
Yeah,
and
you
all
got.
kind of stuff.
So I heard.
Shout out to Colorado, California.
Man, say they have a surplus in their economy.
Right. But why is marijuana so
demonized?
Yeah. I mean, when you smoke it, you don't try to kill nobody.
Listen, let's not get out this.
I don't care how high you.
I'm gonna say this.
I
salute you for walking in your truth. Now, if he has children, I hope you have a plan B, C, D, or whatever that you're gonna do. But if the man say he's tired of getting screwed with and he's dealing with all those stresses and he can't even do what he want to do in his downtime, and he like, hey, I'm chunking deuces. I mean, who are we to harp on?
Man, listen,
that is his money.
One thing I realized about y'all ass in this damn near 2 years we've been doing this show.
That we support weed smokers.
Y'all ass flip flop, boy. I tell you.
No, I
I-
don't.
hold up.
Flip-flopped on. I haven't flip-flopped on
Who was
anybody.
introduced at the league
that
and we was
has
like, oh, that
said-
was stupid. and
No,
da, da,
no,
da,
no.
da.
I'm not
has
talking.
said-
See, damn, Bree.
That's what we talking
You're
about.
ripping and running. What I'm saying is,
Okay, get it out.
no.
Get it
What
out.
I'm saying is like, let's call his shit out first of all.
He want to smoke weed. He want to smoke. He want to smoke and play. But since he can't, he's making a decision of his own to say, you know what? I'm just gonna go smoke.
You
Now,
know,
is he the
if-
greatest of all time?
The man
Is he
decided to
franchise
quit
on
his job on his
No.
own terms, and I hope that he finna go do something else.
Bree, he ain't quit his job. He was suspended. That nigga's he's a
But
crazy.
it was
Well, he
a
was
suspension, but
suspended
he decided to
because
gracefully
of-
buy out on his own terms.
The weed.
The weed.
Okay.
So it wasn't that he was suspended
And we
because
know
he was a
that
bad
brown
player.
players get randomly chosen on a frequent basis
He
in the
won't
leagues.
My nigga, it's all-
stop smoking.
It's all brown players.
He
It's both
won't
brown players.
90%.
Yeah, it's
It's
brown.
90% brown.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he won't stop
31 of the
smoking.
brown.
Okay. If you have enough money to support yourself and make sure your family is good and you don't want to play no more, do you, boo-boo? Because guess what? I wish I could go to my job tomorrow and say, I'm not coming back here no more. I'm good, but I can't because I like to travel.
Because would we have this same energy? Let me just switch it. Would we have this same energy if Sasha, whoever, with such and such big, huge modeling agency, and they told her, in order for you to be our model, you have to stop smoking weed. And she comes out and she says that she no longer wants to be with this agency, and she's been making all this money for that reason. Would we care?
Yeah, hold on.
Would we
Let me catch you.
care
Let
if it was a model?
me catch you in your flipping. Early in the beginning of the show, you
We
literally
ain't talking
just
about
said,
nothing having to do with nothing like this, and I hope
No.
they're not going to try to use
no, because you said,
what I say.
you said early in the beginning, we need to worry about us instead of stop talking about and putting other folks
But why you gotta do
in.
your lips like that though?
Oh,
I know.
I don't
you
think
need to.
Brie
Right.
did her lips like that.
I really did.
And
And I was talking about in us. I was just talking about in a different industry. There's a
Right.
different
So
industry.
you talking about like a black
Modeling
model?
does not always constitute to mean white.
So you talking about a black model?
Yes.
Okay,
I
let's
was
say
just
a black
throwing out a
model.
hypothetical name for
And
her.
you was
I
if you
don't
making
care.
millions, if
I
you
don't
making
care.
millions, and you throw away your career for weed, it's ignorant. And here's why. Antonio Brown, wide receiver from the Steelers, right?
Right.
He did an interview looking like a damn fool with that
the blonde
bleach blonde hair and shit.
mustache and purple
But
hair.
I can understand if he sat down and he said, you know what? I don't need the league because financially, as AB said, I don't need the league because financially, I'm straight. I don't ever have to play in the league again. I have businesses. I have money. That boy went on to say, this house y'all sitting in, I paid for. I don't pay on it. I paid for it. I can get if he did that to say, you know what?
But how you
I
know
want
he
to
got
walk
that
away.
going on?
We don't know, but what I'm saying is the manner in which he came out. We don't.
Oh, so had he
I
had
just
on his
said-
slippery bottoms and been suited and booted and did it
Right,
in
I
an
just
style
said
like, oh boy,
if he
did
would have sat up here and said, you know what, I'm for marijuana, woo woo woo, and made some type of real stance instead of looking like a damn
to be
fool,
prettier.
saying, well, you know what, I'm quitting. And then what he did is, Roz, he talked about, well, at least I'm not on the street shit. But when you accept that job, which is the NFL, you got to play by their rules.
And he
which is-
decided to bow out
And
of
that-
it.
and
So
that's
what's wrong
great.
with that man's decision?
And
He
again,
got the
I'm
job.
not
He went
knocking
out for
his
the job.
decision.
What? He went out for the job, right? He did what he was supposed to do during the job. Well, sort of, kind of. But then he was facing what he was facing. And he decided, you know what? For whatever his reason is, or that grown man decided, I don't want to do this no more. I quit.
And
People
that's
quit
great.
every day,
He
man.
did a dealer flip.
Right, he quit. All I'm saying is, I was just
He
looking
quit.
at this fool at the way he quit. We all quit.
Yeah.
But if you
But-
quit, you
okay,
better
but
have. You can't
I
make an
hope-
excuse to hold on, Ross. Now,
I'm not making
wait.
an
I said I hope the dude got
Wait, what I mean by
or
excuse
two or
is
three.
that he sound foolish in equating marijuana, which is at the end of the day in this country still illegal. It doesn't.
Depending on where you at.
In the it's not
what
a
kind of
federal.
card
It's not
you got.
federally approved. It's not federally accepted. We're talking about only a couple of states where you can smoke.
They accept that federal
He's not in
tax
San
on those.
Francisco. And even if he was in San Francisco, he couldn't. They still go test you because the league say you can't smoke it until the league say, hey, it's cool and acceptable. I get it. All I'm saying is that, hey, There was a better way to come out.
So you don't
to
like
do
the
it.
delivery?
Yeah, I'm like, dude.
Okay, but then let me.
Can you
let me-
change your delivery, man? You
Because
talking about
sometimes, and I know people say,
balls.
sometimes you just have to get to where people are in life and understand how he did it. This is the man that say, I'm finna give up these millions to smoke. You want him to come and do a press conference and be articulate? No.
Crazy.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
see, you're trying to put him
Wow,
in this
that
package.
inhale was impeccable.
damn, I wasn't
I had
trying to put him in
seen
no
it.
package. I'm just
Seen
like,
it.
man, this
I have
is
seen
a better
people
way to
think
do
that.
it.
Okay.
So in
Okay.
looking, I saw how they inhale to the side. My uncle used to smoke a cigarette and inhale while he talked to Rick on call.
Well, you know
I
what?
can do that
I don't
too.
think there's nothing wrong with admitting if you tried it, because we got politicians who still sit in office and make decisions
No,
and
and
say,
that's it.
well, hey, you know what? I admit that I tried it. I just didn't inhale.
Right.
So I admit that,
Whatever that's about.
you know, I tried it, but my job wasn't.
My job
worth
would
it.
not let me be great. Let me.
Now,
let's
I've
just go
always
ahead.
said,
Let's be honest.
if they make that shit legal,
My job would not let us be great.
it's smoky.
That's why
all I gotta say.
I
can't
cannot
see
go
eyes.
home and exhale. His job would let him be great, but he got something, and it really doesn't matter on our opinion because he done made his decision.
You know what would be a trip?
He done. I mean, Ricky Williams, like we discussed
And he
before
goes
we even
on to
started
like
the
make
show.
hella money off of something else.
Ricky retired, moved to Jamaica, and I don't want you to get upset and say that I'm putting this on Jamaicans that they all smoke weed, but that's where he went. Now I don't know if he went there to go down to Riverfall. I don't know if he went there to
Say, he
cut
went to
down
go
some
get some of that
bamboo.
homegrown Jamaican
I don't know if
food.
he went over there to got his hair retwisted. I don't know, but he resigned and he moved to Jamaica on the drug that he kept failing. And Ricky Williams was a higher caliber player than this man.
Yeah, but Ricky Williams didn't say I'm quitting football for weed.
Yes, he did, sir. Because he could
Now,
not
pull that
pass.
story up. Let me
in
shout out
Florida.
him real quick.
Okay, go
Hey,
ahead.
listen.
In Florida.
Let me shout out to Culinary Creations. We have in the building today. We're not eating it, but we have some gumbo onto the side. Find them on Facebook, Culinary Creations. They cook it all, egg rolls, gumbo, because we got some seafood gumbo that we go turn into, you name it. He's one of my frat brothers, one of my bros. And anytime we can support a black business, we definitely want to support him. Again, look up Culinary Creations. It's with 2 K's, Culinary Creations. Find them on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. I wanted to send them a shout out before I forgot about it. He came to the studio, dropped off this gumbo that we go get into after the show. So shout out to them guys again, Culinary Creations. That is with a K for both of them. Support that black-owned business. Now, as you were saying, Rob.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead. And this is a story from 2018, December. Ricky Williams is the greatest pot smoker to wear a Miami Dolphins uniform. Blah, 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 blah. Labeled as a slacker by sports pundits, appalled that a star player of his caliber would walk away from the game so he could puff a joint or two. That is why that man retired, because he could not stop smoking weed.
Rise.
And moved
Rise.
to where they, and I'm not saying, I don't want to put a stereotype on them.
But
Because
that was
we
just
had
the
that
destination.
conversation.
That was the
He went to
destination.
where most of the people do it.
Okay.
He
And-
became known as Jeff into his business because the next article says Ricky Williams, NFL, RB starts new line of marijuana-based products. He making millions.
Oh, that's what you call it.
Yes, okay.
I love it. I'm here
Roz,
for it. I'm here for all the shit.
That dude didn't go on no social media. Yeah, he quit. He quit because he had a substance abuse problem and that was smoking weed. He had to walk away. But he did not do like this dude.
Stop.
But if you're addicted to weed, you don't
It's
want
just
to
like
stop.
any other
So
substance.
Right.
Sorry,
But he didn't he
Okay,
did not
so-
quit. He didn't say, you know what,
So
I
let's
want to quit
weigh
the
it out.
NFL
Let's weigh it
because
out.
I can't stop smoking weed. He was kicked
Technically,
out.
that's what he did.
Man, listen, we're gonna go on to our next story.
Technically, that's what he did.
Man.
Did he not? He couldn't quit smoking, just like this man here. Look, I can't do it, y'all. I tried to give.
Hey,
I
don't want to do it.
Yeah, I tried to get that Mary Jane up. She had me by the throat. I ain't
Listen,
gonna be able to do that.
we want to thank Roz
I
for
appreciate
the
that.
sports talk
I love
of
to
the
see
day.
those,
Again, hey, pursue your passion. I just hope you make some money. I just hope you have a
Hey, Ricky,
bag up plan
write a book, bro.
like the rest of these
Promise.
guys that do. If not, you will be looked at as a damn dummy because he go on that list. He go knock old Dez Bryant out. I'm just letting you know in advance.
I don't
Who?
think anybody gonna Dez.
No, I'm talking about this.
Oh, the new one,
Yeah.
David Irvin, Lil
Yeah.
Irvin.
Yeah, Lil Irvin. But with that being said, man, we're going to round up the show, man, real quick. U.S. Circuit Courts rule it is legal to refuse jobs to people with dreadlocks. This is a story that you can find on the Griot that goes on to say the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has filed a lawsuit against Catastrophe Management Solutions of Mobile, Alabama for rescinding a job offer for Chastity Jones because her dreadlocks hairstyle. The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against the EEOC. The article goes on to say that the EEOC in their lawsuit said this violated the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title 7, arguing that dreadlocks are a hairstyle physiologically, culturally associated with African Americans. Further, the EEOC said the hairstyle is a racial characteristic used to harshly and unfairly stereotype black people, such as viewing people who wear the style as bad team players or unfit for the workplace. Furthermore, the EEOC argued dreadlocks do not fit a grooming policy. And here come the courts. The courts of appeal, however, disagreed with this rationale, ruling that CMS's race-neutral grooming policy was not discriminatory as hairstyle, while culturally associated with race are not immutable physical characteristics, according to the NBC News. Essentially, this means that while African Americans may wear the hairstyle and it may be tied to their culture, it is unlikely an immutable physical characteristics as the hairstyle can be changed. Thus the court ruled people who wear dreadlocks are not protected from job offers or the lack thereof. So real quick, what are y'all thoughts on it, man?
I think this is a bunch of bullshit, and they done opened the floodgates in regards to these companies being able to teeter-totter and I don't even want to call it a loop, because what the EEOC argued is what exactly that is, and then for the courts to come back and say what they said, it's like the rich man finding a loophole in a tax law, or just whatever the hell they do to keep their little money or whatnot. I feel like this is just disgrace, and this is just open Pandora's box for a whole lot of stuff that will affect primarily us, because they've already initiated something of the sort in the military as well. And I think they're just coming for people, because even though it's not what they refer to as a immutable physical characteristic, it is highly and heavily and always have been associated with us. Well, let me take that back. It was started by us, and the correct name for the hairstyle is locks. Dread was added to it by other people because a regime of men fought against certain khaki pale-faced people, and they dreaded to see them coming. Therefore, dread was added to it. But the proper way to call that hairstyle is locks. And they're wrong as shit for the ruling. And I feel like this is just not going to do anything but to allow companies to implement jacked up, just to further pounce upon this. And this is going to just go in all kinds of territory that at one point in time they couldn't job-wise, when it comes to stopping people from being able to be expressive in a cultural aspect or way.
What's up, Ross?
I just think it's ridiculous, and that's it. I mean, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's profiling. I mean, it's 101 things. It's a cultural thing. I mean, if we tag it with religion, then it's okay. But it's a cultural thing.
It is a very spiritual thing for some people
Now,
as well.
This is something that I thought, and the Mayor Cedric Davis, who's tuned in on our Facebook Live, he made this statement, and he says the argument, which where my problem was, they presented the wrong argument. And so what I mean by that is that Mayor Cedric Davis said that the argument should have been, the argument should have been on religion and culture versus using the Civil Rights Act to present that case. And so here we go in a situation where did the EEOC use the best tactic to really protect this woman? Because that's something that I thought about. I'm like, well, if that's not a good argument.
Right.
Like using that, because as the court said, well, you can change up your hairstyle. We're not knocking that you wear dreads, but it is not immutable, as you said, or in. You can look up that word. We use it in masonry, find out what it means. In other words, it is not stationary. It can't be changed.
No, that's what the court chose to say in their response. They, the EEOC,
They argued that it wasn't
said
immutable.
Physiologically and culturally associated. The court came back and said it like that.
Right. If you go back up, the court is saying that it is not immutable, meaning that you, in other words, you can change it though.
Right.
You can fix it. Right. So that's what I'm saying. The court is saying, hey, no, well, we understand where you're coming from, and that they do recognize that it is associated with the African American community. Your argument that it is stand still is not true, because it's not valid, because you can wear it up, you can wear it down, you can wear it sideways, you can separate it. So it is not immutable as you're trying to make it sound.
I just don't think that should be a court case over here. And who's
well, the reason why you have
and
that
the
court
fact
case
that it's considered unkempt, something associated, unkempt. Why is the things that are considered unkempt? If you look at the styles, it's all things associated with styles that we wear, from afros to baby girls wearing puffs to their hair being braided with beads on it, and the babies wearing locks. I've seen a lot of stories where babies have been wearing their hair in its natural state. Not that they're coming to school with dirty clothes on, not that they're coming to school looking battered and bruised and this, that, and the third, because these babies are coming to school with their hair in its natural state and being told, their parents being told, oh, you can't send your child to school in this. And then so this could become a slippery slope, because we do have heavily populated areas with brown people that, for whatever reason, are diseased in the mind, and they bleach heavily. It happens in Jamaica. It happens in very large parts of Africa. What if now we have opened up the floodgate, and now you have employers saying, you know what, I feel more comfortable with somebody of a lighter complexion, and maybe somehow or another encourage people to be of a certain hue or paler, to be able to be the representation of their company, because everything's about branding and stuff now, especially with these big companies. Like, what that could possibly, it is not very near, maybe, hopefully, but just because this is opened up so much. It's like a floodgate of things that they can do now.
Well, this has been a long running argument.
It really has.
This is not new. This is just a new situation where they bring up where the EEOC lost, because you very seldom hear the EEOC losing.
Yes, so this
but
is
again, and as Mayor Cedric Davis said, well, it wasn't for just black people. It's white too, because now you do have.
It's not because they do dread there.
That dread hurts too.
I'm not gonna speak on this.
Well, I mean, but they do.
But they
I know they do. But,
yeah, that they do. So again, what happens is that now you can have, like, if you go on further into the article, schools are implementing policies for that. But that's where you're manipulating
the system.
You're manipulating because the court didn't rule for schools. So that's something a little bit different. The court didn't rule for that. They're talking about.
But one will try to use it though.
Yeah, they did. I mean, the young lady in the story, posted a little old thing where it says that locks, braids, or
cornrows.
Yeah, cornrows are not allowed.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but then now you're starting to become discriminatory because your hair, you're a black person with cornrows. You know what I'm saying? We know a lot of Caucasian Americans don't wear them. Very seldom do. So now you're targeting. Now that's where the whole manipulating and playing a discriminatory game come in at.
Right.
Everybody don't want to wear fades, or whatever the case may be. Other racial groups now wear this style, so they should have argued job denied based on religion, culture, beliefs, and customs.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Like I said, the argument was not presented well. You went after civil rights. You ran behind the civil rights, and you should have ran behind something else, because you wouldn't have been denied for that. Because you could have said, "Well, hey, listen, I come from a group of you know, my family and ancestors that
Yeah.
this is what we do by tradition, whatever. My hair is connected to my religion, and that can be proven. You know, so like I said, man, that's just sad to hear. But with that being said, man, we're gonna come to the end of our show as usual. We try to play some type of audio instrumental. This is the same from last week, from Trent Shelton, and
You know, we got everything.
yeah, man, you know, I'm trying to get to this gumbo. But we got a clip that we're gonna play real quick, and we're gonna come back and shut the show down. Man, I really
They come into your life to use you.
talking about Zachariah walking around.
Well, he was laying down, so he done got his snap out now.
Yeah.
They don't see you as a person.
He was. I walked by there and he was laying down. I said, Zach said he is tired.
They love you for you.
He don't know what y'all been doing, but he is tired.
Yeah, because I gave him some little medicine too.
Yes, honey. Okay, come to light.
What happened? Oh, Lord.
Just good lighting. Cause me and Roz haven't taken an Ussie in a long time. We have to take one because it's her birthday.
I know, huh?
Reciprocated, then that relation has to be annihilated. I refuse to be you. So stop taking punches from people who won't take a punch from you. Stop keeping people in your boat that ain't rolling with you. Stop being there for people that always disappear on you. I hate to say this, but it's facts. If they're not supporting, then they shouldn't be important straight up. Just because someone is in your life doesn't mean they want the best for your life. So let me ask you this question. If your talent wasn't there, would they still be there? Exactly. If you want to get down in life, would they still stay down for you? If all you had to offer was friendship, would they still be around?
I would hope so, because I don't have no money.
Support, I get it. But understand you don't need
Better
this
take me as I am.
Man, right.
Let me tell you, we don't have no money.
I know it sucks.
People be claiming they be
The
wanted.
ones you did the most for really
Chantel Curry, y'all know who that is?
support. Create a lack of belief. Get around people.
See, them
I know.
comments be coming in and
Yeah,
But
now I
thank
saw
you,
her come up
appreciate
from
you,
Portland.
Chantel.
People who pour into your cup, not just want to drink from it. Get around people who want to help you elevate your life. Not
man,
just
we got
elevate
Portland, Oregon in the building.
keeping these
We have
rich
St.
people
Louis
in
in
your
the
life.
building.
Everything
Who
What
else?
was he named?
give absolutely nothing to you.
Louis,
And I get
the
it.
Lou.
I said,
The Lou.
who's that
Oh,
support?
okay.
That's
Shout out to the Lou.
people way to support you. So don't let those that don't support you keep you from seeing that. And I want to be clear, when you remove these people from your life, because you will, they're going to try to paint a picture to the world that you're wrong when
Tanya
you're
Thomas.
wrong. But I want
Y'all
you
know
to
who that is?
understand this, man, and never forget it. Never feel guilty for cutting someone off when they handed you the
What he
decision.
talking about?
But like I always
Who is this?
say, it all starts with you.
What was that?
It's rehab time.
Oh.
Let's get it.
Hey, we're back. Listen, man, we've had one hell of a show today, man. I kind of feared this.
Well,
Because I knew it was going to definitely be lit, but I
that's
mean,
the
you
thing,
know.
though, because I mean, everybody will have an opinion about something. So I mean, it ain't too much of nothing that we done shied away from.
Yeah,
I
shout
mean,
out to,
even our own panel have
Yeah.
their own.
right. I mean, and that's why we win awards and shit. But shout out to Nikki C. Trunk, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank everybody for tuning in. Before I get up out of here, man, we want to send a shout out to Duncanville High School. They won their state championship last night, 6A. Watch them. Shout out to Oak Cliff's own Faith and Family. My classmate Brandon Thomas, class of '97, Justin F. Kimball. He took his team to the 4A state championship. Shout out to Madison High School in sunny South Dallas. They won state as well. We made history as a school. Shout out to Mansfield, who won their state championship as well. Everything was local to, this past
bring it
weekend
home,
in San
boys.
Antonio. So congratulations to all you young men. Congratulations again to the coaches of these schools, man. That's pretty neat. We are excellent at the end of the day. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram. You can catch the show tomorrow in replay from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the A side. Also, say we got
Central, we have, because we're not just local.
yeah, you're right, Central Time. Also, we have another After Party Live that's going to be coming up as well. If you missed that shit the first time, it was lit. That's all I got to say. And your boy came through as usual, starting shit. And this time, we're gonna have 2 more shows who gonna be added, Mash the Gas and Hustlenomics as well.
Oh, okay.
Who gonna be added. You don't want to miss it. I believe it is May 10th, correct? Yeah, you can say something, Montana.
No.
What's up?
Yeah, it's May 4th actually. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you good.
May 4th actually. And what is very interesting is your conversation today is a little piece of what it's going to be about. I was telling Amber, we was listening to your show. I said, he wasn't even in our meeting.
Yeah, I was supposed to be in the meeting. I had business to take care of. Your boy's still back a part of it with the original 2 other co-hosts. And so it's going to be lit. I can't wait to...
I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all.
I just want to know, am I hosting it again or y'all didn't like what I was doing?
Whisper.
We have some feedback to give. No, I'm just joking with you.
Right.
It was all good feedback. But this year, y'all, well, not this year. This time we are going to be talking Trapped in the Closet. And so that, I know you like, what is Trapped in the Closet?
I know.
Because that can go so many places.
It can. This time we're talking about the mindset of
Okay.
the community.
Oh.
Great topic.
Yeah, so something that's going to be, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't wait. Man, listen, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so breathe, rise, we gonna need y'all there this time. Y'all gonna have to treat, cause you know they gonna be waiting on them in the park.
Yeah, man, listen. Listen, when I say we definitely want to send a shout out to damn, I forgot her name again that quick. Nikivia, who was there, and who made our cupcakes and our.
Just say everybody else.
The first time or the second time?
The first time when I said her name right. Carla. Damn, could change your name on Facebook. Carla was there. They definitely weighed in. Shout out to them for weighing in. It was a great conversation. I'm glad that it didn't go live. Because now you get opportunity, you're not hearing me. You get the opportunity to come firsthand and see that this shit is live and for real. We had everybody talking. We had everybody talking from audience to staff members. It was emotional. Listen, I'm telling you, it was a great show.
Back in the kitchen, like, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Montana, we're not listening, man. We're not just talking this shit just to pump this shit up. Montana can attest. You're not hearing me. It was a very great show, and like I told her, I'm glad we didn't go live, because then that way now you got to come and say what is all this is about.
Mm-hmm.
It can be co-signed on by our very own viewers who watch this show, who listen all the time. They ain't co-signing for me. They co-signed and was talking about the whole show in general. And so again, you guys definitely want to check that out. With that being said, man, we will catch you guys next Sunday, same time, same place, hitting you guys with some of the craziest topics and starting shit as usual. That's why we are the Petty Crew Radio Show. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will check you out next Sunday. Hey, we out on Facebook, man. I'm trying to get to this gumbo. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.